take a trip out to the ocean. Gonna leave behind the great big sea. Got lots of friends who miss me all across the country. They can see me on MattTv, on MattTv, on MattTV, on MattTV. MattTV is recorded in front of a live audience.
It is, Joe. It certainly is. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you. It is 3:01 in the morning. It is just 3 hours into this 29th day of March. My name is Matthew. This is MattTV, Facebook Live, and I'm doing an early morning show just because it's always a crapshoot when you get in here and do MattTV. Given any time of day, you just never know the audience that you are going to get. Example, I did a show on Monday at noon. It was 12 o'clock here on the West Coast on Monday when I did a show, and 4 o'clock in the Atlantic provinces. I think I had 74 views and one comment. I had one comment on that show. It was a 40-minute program. And the one comment I had was, hello, Matt. Hello, Wayne Mason, Carolyn, welcome to the program. So I'm just going to be in here for a few moments. This is the first of two shows. I will be doing another broadcast later today at 6 o'clock this evening. So in about 15 hours, that sounds weird. In 15 hours, I will be doing another live broadcast, and I will have two guests right here in White Rock in my garage at 6 o'clock tonight. I'll be speaking with Greg Cahoon and his girlfriend Candace, who I have never met. So I'm really looking forward to that interview. I'm going to tell you what we will be talking about at the end of this program. Lee, welcome to the program, and congratulations, Lee, on your big move. Exciting times for everyone in 2018. Yes? All right. Okay, just let me close the window, go back to my MattTV Facebook page, refresh it, and we are off to the races. So right now, doing my show on my iPhone here. So anytime I'm looking this way, I'm just looking at my laptop, and there are some stories that I'm going to get to here in a few moments as we try and fill in the next 27 minutes here on MattTV. I think it's doable. I just said from the very beginning, at the top of this program, I talked for 40 minutes to myself on Monday, so I know it can be done. Ton, welcome to the program. So let me scroll down so I can see my video, read the comments, and we're good to go. Just a few things that I want to touch base on, and anyone that's ever seen my show knows that this show is just based on positive energy, observations, conversations that I've had. So let's get to it. Anyone recognize this? Anyone that knows me and spent any time at Marvin's Brook? This is, what do we call these shirts? They're not shirts, they're not sweaters, they're an in-between. That's not the proper name. It's not the in-between shirt. But this shirt here, or this garment, I will call it. I've had this for such a long time. This wardrobe right here has seen Marvin's Brook. If it could talk, probably wouldn't tell the best stories about me. Michelle Nowlin, welcome to the program, and let's do a phone chat sometime in the near future. Michelle, Simon McGinnis, welcome to the broadcast. Let me scroll down, see the comments, and we are good to go. Top of the day. Yes, here we are, the 29th day of March, 2018. So I had a job interview yesterday. Let me tee up what's happening here in the next few moments. I'm going to be talking about my job interview yesterday. Just going to quickly touch on that. Greg and Candace, my two guests, will be in here tonight at 6 o'clock. Also going to talk about having your head on a swivel. Just speaking specifically about when you are in the city, when you are driving, you have to pay attention. And I'll tell you why here very, very quickly. We're going to talk about Earth Hour, which happened last Saturday night. Earth Hour. Did you participate in it? Do you know what it is? We're also going to talk about China's foreign waste, Nelson Mandela's hands, Matthew Good collapsing on a stage in Edmonton a couple of nights ago. We're going to talk about the Chinese space station Tiangong-1. Plogging. I had no idea what plogging was. I'm going to tell you all about that. And an owl's TKO. All that coming up here in the next few moments as we roll at 3:05 in the morning here on the west coast of British Columbia. It's overcast. It is raining here right now. We are expecting rain for the majority of the day, and then very patchy sunshine, clouds, and rain over the next few days. So we are expecting some dry conditions, but I think Easter Monday is going to be a wet day. But you can just never tell. You can just never tell what the weather is going to be. I've said it many times. A meteorologist has one of the easiest jobs in the world. Cheers to that. Yes, I heard, Michelle, I heard so many great things about the High School Musical Footloose. So many great reviews. I can't wait. I think what I would like to do, Michelle, I think Jill Fox said something that eventually there would be a DVD where people could purchase. When that happens, when DVDs are available, let me know, because I would certainly love to purchase one of those. Yes? All right. Okay. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Matthew. This is MattTv. So yes, my job interview yesterday. I'm not going to tell you the name of the company because I'm not in yet. But what I can tell you, I did an interview yesterday with two of what could possibly be my potential supervisors. And they said if they had the ability to hire me, they would have hired me yesterday. So I'm just waiting. The individual who makes those decisions, along with the Human Resource Department, they will get together on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So I am hoping, I have a really good feeling, but I'm hoping that I will be joining the workforce in early April. So let's keep your fingers crossed on that. It was just a really great, it was a great interview. I think it's very important for those that are conducting the interview just to simply listen to the individual who is trying to get the job. You can only get work information. You can only get the work information off a sheet of 8.5 by 11. It's just words on paper. But until you actually sit down and can gauge the type of person that you are possibly bringing into your company, only then, I believe, only then can you make a great decision. So I left the interview yesterday feeling really, really well. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, we talked about me being a medic up north. We talked about my 2 attempts at Yuck Yucks. We talked about the Olympics, and then we talked about what would be happening if I was to join this company and what work capacity I would be doing. So I gave that interview yesterday, and 11 out of 10. If something would have to go horribly, horribly wrong for me not to get this job. So fingers crossed. Thanks for all the positive vibes. I put a post up here a few days ago that I was going in for a job interview, and a lot of people wishing me well, sending me positive vibes, which is, I love that. I love that terminology because that's what I do on a regular basis on this show. If I know there is someone out there who is going through a rough time or can use a little extra energy their way, collectively our thoughts can change. And we're going to talk about that later tonight with Greg Cahoon. I'm just so excited to be speaking with Greg Cahoon, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as the show goes along. That's how I will wrap up the show today, telling you about the show later today. Because here it is, it's only 3:08 in the morning here on the West Coast, and I'm doing a show. Why? Why not? The internet never sleeps. And I went to bed last night at 11 o'clock. I slept for 2.5 hours. The alarm went off at 2:30 this morning. Made myself some coffee. The program was all ready to go. My notes and everything was all ready to go last night. So I just made some coffee, put on some makeup. Boom! Look at me. I look like I get up at 2:30 in the morning. There's no makeup here. There's never been a makeup person here. So I'm going to be talking with Greg and Candace at 6 o'clock tonight, right here in the garage. They will be in-studio guests, and I'll let you know exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. It's a program you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be the last program before the Easter long weekend. So this is a great way to start your last workday, is hanging out with me. All right. Okay. Head on a swivel. You have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to pay attention when you are walking in the city, when you are driving in the city, when you step out of your home. You have to be, as my dad would say, your eyes are going like peas in a whistle. And if anyone has no idea what that means, the old school whistles that the referees had, they had that little ball in there. When you blew it, the ball was whipping around. That's how your eyes have to be, kind of. They like googly eyes, like the eyes on the Cookie Monster. You know, when the Cookie Monster's eyes were all googly, googly eyes. That's how your eyes have to be. And I'll tell you why you have to have your head on a swivel. I was watching the news a few days ago, and there was surveillance footage, and this was downtown Vancouver. There was a vehicle stopped at a stop sign, and it was hit by a pair of truck tires that had come detached from the truck. So you had a truck that was driving down the road. Its two back wheels broke off from the vehicle, and now you had these tires rolling through the streets of Vancouver and smashing into this vehicle. That could have been deadly for the individual in the vehicle, and it certainly could have been very, very deadly or caused serious injury to anyone who was walking on the street. This wasn't something that happened at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. This was early morning hours in the streets of Vancouver. So just pay attention when you are outside. You just never know what might be rolling down the sidewalk. It could be a pair of tires doing 40K. You don't know. What should we do about this individual here? We have a lot of, it doesn't matter where you live, there are people on the road who should not be driving. Not now, never. They should never be driving. There's an incident here where I think it was somewhere out in the valley. They pulled over an individual who was doing 162 kilometers in a 70-kilometer-hour zone. 162K in a 70K zone. I think he was fined $500. Just throw out what would be the correct punishment. Yes, we can levy financial fines on these individuals, but there has to be something more. Take points away, send him back to school, take away his license, suspend his license. But even people with suspended licenses are still driving. What should we do with people who are just reckless drivers? Obviously, they're not educated enough to get behind the wheel of a vehicle. I'm so glad that when I started driving when I was 16, I'm so glad that I have all these years experience driving, because I, especially out here in the Lower Mainland, I would not want to have to be learning to drive in today's world. Oh, people get their cars impounded for street driving all the time. There was an incident here a few years ago where there were at least 7 or 8 high-end vehicles. They were all traveling together, and some of them would actually stop on Highway 99 so no traffic could get by, so that the 2 vehicles in front of them, 2 of their buddies, could race down Highway 99. I think when all was said and done, the 7 vehicles that were pulled over, all those 7 vehicles were worth in total about $2 to $3 million. We're talking high end. We're talking high end vehicles. So just wondering, what do we do with people? Where are we going wrong? Where are we going wrong with drivers who think that it's okay, that it's safe to do 162 kilometers in a 70 zone? I don't get it. Don't get it. And I was telling you earlier this week, I think when I did my show on Monday, I was giving you a Juno recap, and I was telling you about an accident that I came across while I was on the bus, Highway 99. It was a northbound accident. But what had happened, what I learned, is an individual came out of the Massey Tunnel in the wrong lane. So what happened, we had a southbound vehicle traveling in the northbound lane. You can see dash cam video of it. If you Google it, you'll probably come across the story. The dash cam video I saw, the individual was lucky to get out of the way. This individual was driving the wrong way in the far left lane. So traffic that was going pretty fast to get by the slower vehicles, those are the ones that were in danger. This vehicle ended up in a head-on collision. There were 3 vehicles involved. The driver of the vehicle that was going the wrong way is now in hospital with life-threatening injuries. So I just wanted to give you an update on that as it's coming up on 3:15 here on the West Coast. It's overcast, it's rainy, and I'm in here because why not? Why not? You just never know who's going to be in here. You just never know. I'll send you a private message, Jill. My sister just gave me a message, wanted to know what job position I was going for. I'm not going to make any announcement about the company or anything like that until I'm in there, and I have a really good feeling about it. But Jill, I'll send you a private message and let you know. But it's all good. It's all good. I think after nearly 3 months in the unemployment line. I think I'm making my way back into the working position. So I'm quite excited about that. Just a few more things I want to talk about here before I shut it down. I'm going to go back to bed. I have to get up at like 7 o'clock. And me, Jen, and Kaya are going into Vancouver for a bit today. Saturday, this past Saturday was Earth Hour. Did you observe it? It's a global event. What they want to happen, I think it was from 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. to 9:30. So they wanted the global community to not lose, but use less energy. So basically for that 1 hour out of the year, just unplug everything, turn your lights off, get the candles out and just chill, get away from the technology. Sadly out here in British Columbia, the consumption of energy actually went up 0.5%. So people not really getting a grasp on Earth Hour. Just wondering, did you have any idea that Earth Hour existed? If so, did you participate? For me, honestly, I just completely forgot about it. I completely forgot about Earth Hour, which we have observed in years previous. This year just slipped my mind. So I'm just wondering, Earth Hour, have you heard of it? If so, did you participate this year? I've just got some notes here. I'm just on my second page, and this is where I get into some news. And this stuff comes, you may be fully aware. I'm having a hard time talking because it's so early in the morning. It's so early in the morning, and you just never know who's going to be in here. I saw some people in here this morning that I haven't seen in a long time that have been a part of this broadcast. So good morning. This is an alternative. This is an alternative to the depressing news that you get in the morning. Because the morning news, it's nothing but bad news for the first 10 minutes. I know. I've seen it. I'm kind of like, this program is kind of like the good news stories that you get at the end of the broadcast, but mine are the entire show. The entire show. Tracy, how are you? Okay, I'm just going to move my page to, I just want to give you some stories. And I first want to talk about China's foreign waste. So I'm just going to look at my laptop here. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs off here and throw up your comments as I go along here. China is cracking down on foreign garbage. This is stuff I did not know. So this is educational to you, perhaps. The country was taking in about half of the world's paper and plastic recycling. On average, that was about 20,000 tons every day. And that doesn't include glass, scrap metal, and other waste. But last summer, China decided to stop accepting 24 kinds of solid waste beginning early this year. The list includes textiles, mixed paper shipments, and a certain type of plastic bottle. And it imposed strict standards to avoid contaminated waste, which was coming in uncleaned and unsorted. So you can imagine a ship full of garbage that the Chinese believe is one certain type of recycling product, and it's just mixed with all kinds of garbage. Not cool for those that are sending that overseas, so they have put in strict standards. The move is in part aimed at dealing with the environmental disaster from taking in the world's garbage. Some districts became notorious for environmental and health problems related to electronic waste, which contains heavy metals like lead. But the policy creates a problem for countries like Canada. China has been a cheap and easy solution for dumping our junk. So it sounds like Canada, probably the United States and other countries are going to have to rethink, and they're going to have to be innovative in how we're going to have to deal with our own garbage. Wow, what a concept. A country dealing with its own garbage and not shipping it off to someone else. So that's going to be interesting in the next few months, how Canada and other countries step up to the plate, because China is no longer accepting our garbage. Good for them. Good for them. Good stuff. Okay, that was that story there. This is from the cbc.ca. You can check out all these stories by yourself. This is just like the skinny on the scoop. This is the skinny on the scoop. This is an onion. I'm just giving you like the outer layer. If you so choose, you can peel back more layers of the onion and do research, make up your own mind, and go from there. Yes? I told you I was going to tell you a story about the strange case of Nelson Mandela's golden hands. So what exactly am I talking about? Well, back in 2002, there was a plan to make 27 solid gold casts of former South African President Nelson Mandela's hands. That would be one for each year of his incarceration. The collection was never completed, and Mandela ordered the hands destroyed before his death in 2013. But some of the gold hands survived, and now, in a bizarre twist, they've been bought by a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange for $10 million in Bitcoin. Arbitrade plans to display the hands in museums, but it's also possibly a PR move. The company plans to release 5 new cryptocurrencies backed by precious metals, such as gold. Interesting story. I really don't know enough about cryptocurrency, but I just found that story to be interesting. And again, this showed up in my news feed on the cbc.ca. Again, if you want more information on that, on Nelson Mandela's golden hands, you can check it out. Just Google it. Go to the CBC. That story is out there, certainly floating around on the internet. Shelley, good morning. Welcome to the broadcast. I found this interesting here and quite scary for those that are fans of Matthew Good. Rock musician Matthew Good collapsed mid-concert. He was opening for Our Lady Peace in Edmundston. This happened Tuesday night. He was taken to hospital as a precautionary measure. His official Twitter account, that's what his official Twitter account said. Our Lady Peace frontman Rain Maida told the crowd Good has been battling pneumonia. So that being said, what's the sickest you've ever been where you just thought, oh my goodness, I still have to go to work? You had no one to cover for you and you went to work anyway. Have you ever collapsed at work due to sickness? Just throwing that out there. Myself, I know I've gone to work sick, but I've never actually collapsed, or I've never had to go to the hospital due to just working myself where, oh, I got to go to the hospital. Anyway, just throwing it out there. I think because he was battling pneumonia, just the exhaustion and just everything that happens with the tour just caught up with Matthew Good. I don't know the status of him right now. I don't know if he's out of the hospital or if he is still resting in a hospital in Edmonton. But you can, like I said, these are just, I'm just giving you stories, and if you like them and you want to do more research, by all means, it's right there at your fingertips. It's right there at the keys, man. Google it. Google Matthew Good. See what's happening. We got rain on the outside, and my cat is outside, and the cat wants to come inside. But the cat is not allowed. The cat is not allowed. I talked about this story a few days ago. I'm just scrolling down here. Do we have a reason to be concerned about debris falling out of the sky? I was talking about this a few days ago. The Chinese space station is falling out of the sky. Let me say that again. A Chinese space station is falling out of the sky. It could re-enter, well, not could, it will re-enter Earth's atmosphere anywhere between, what's today, Thursday? Anywhere between Saturday and Tuesday. Anywhere over this weekend, this Chinese space station called the Tiangong-1. Tiangong-1. That's the name of this Chinese space station. Now, it says it will mostly burn up in the atmosphere when it falls out of orbit, but some debris could reach the ground. But they don't know where in particular it could. But there is no reason to be alarmed. Since the space age began in 1951, no one has been injured by a piece of space debris. Tiangong-1 was China's first space station. It was launched in 2011 and visited just twice by Chinese astronauts. It's about the size of a school bus and weighs 8 tons. So, sometime within the next few days, a Chinese space station the size of a school bus. What if it was the Magic School Bus? It'd be cool if it was like the Magic School Bus, and just before it re-entered Earth's atmosphere, it turned into something else where it didn't burn up, and then it got through the atmosphere and boom, turned back into the space station or the Magic School Bus and landed. What a great educational tool. What a great educational tool. We don't have any concern here in Canada, but earlier this week they were saying that in the predicted zone where it could possibly re-enter Earth's atmosphere, and the slightest chance of a piece of it hitting the ground was in southern Ontario. So if you are living in southern Ontario, be looking up the next few nights, because you may very well see the Chinese space station Tiangong-1 re-enter Earth's atmosphere. And you've seen YouTube videos of different space debris, space junk re-entering, and you see this just magical light display in the nighttime sky. So if you're in southern Ontario, there is a good chance that you may see re-entry of the Chinese space station Tiangong-1. Look up, way up, and see that Chinese space station on the way down. Okay, one final thing I wanted to talk about, and I thought this was interesting. Plogging, actually two more stories. I think I can go for another 5 minutes. I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. Plogging, and again, this is my iPhone here, broadcast off the iPhone. I'm just looking at because I don't have a teleprompter. Not yet. I don't have a teleprompter. So I'm just looking at my laptop right now. This is where I'm getting my stories off the cbc.ca. But plogging is the latest Swedish exported eco-fitness craze. Well, what's plogging? What are ploggers? Well, ploggers are joggers who also pick up trash. So while you're out jogging, you're stopping and picking up trash. The activity has attracted a small but serious following in Canada as dedicated ploggers show off their trash hauls on social media. Proponents say that in addition to making areas litter-free, the activity also works different muscle groups by making participants bend, squat, and lunge. Here's an idea. Why don't we allow the people who are out jogging, getting exercise and stuff, why don't we just leave them alone, and why don't we take our own responsibility and pick up our own trash? If you want to enjoy a candy bar, by all means. If you want to have a banana, if you are taking something with you, an apple or a piece of fruit or a vegetable, take a plastic bag with you so that you can put the remains in a plastic bag and take it home with you. I don't understand when someone eats a chocolate bar, does that wrapper all of a sudden become so heavy? It's just unbearable. I can't take this weight anymore, so I better just throw it on the ground. People that litter, I just don't understand. I will never understand why people think it is okay to take a piece of trash and stuff it in a bush, drop it on the ground, or throw it over a fence for someone else. I just will never, no one will ever be able to justify that littering is okay. It's not okay. So what's happening in Sweden, they started it. It's now over here in Canada. Joggers, while they're out jogging, they have their little stabby stick, their stabby stick and a garbage bag, and they're picking up garbage. Good for them. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to Google that just to see how much garbage these joggers are collecting while they are out. And this story here, final story, and I thought this was super hilarious. I'm just going to read you the headline. And after I'm done, you're probably going to want to go to YouTube and see if a video of this incident actually exists. Here's what happened. A ring-bearing owl flew at the best man at a wedding in the UK. The best man, who is terrified of birds, inadvertently signaled for the owl, who dove for his arm, causing him to panic and fall over. The audience found the whole thing very funny. The one person that didn't think it was funny was the guy that was super terrified of birds, and the next thing you know, there's an owl coming at him. He panics and falls down. I will definitely be searching for that on YouTube because I can guarantee that video is up there. The owl with the technical knockout. That's all I have for stories as we approach 3:29 here in the west coast of British Columbia. Overcast with some rain. I just want to tee up what's happening again today. So at 6 o'clock tonight, that is 9 o'clock in Ontario. That's 10 o'clock in the Atlantic provinces, 10:30 in Newfoundland. I will be back in here later today with a live broadcast. I'm going to have two guests, and Greg Cahoon, I've known Greg for almost 6 years. He was in a swimming pool accident a few years ago, shortly before I met him. He was in a swimming pool accident. He is now in a wheelchair, but he believes, and I believe, that he will walk again. So I'm going to have Greg Cahoon in here this afternoon at 6 o'clock. I'm going to have his girlfriend in here as well. And some of the things that we're going to talk about mesenchymal stem cells, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I do sleep. I went to bed at 3 o'clock and get up at 2:30 just because I like testing the different audience to see who was up. I know it's 7:30. I know it's 7:30 in the morning in the Woodstock area. So there's always going to be a different audience for you, Shelley. I know you've seen my show before, but I'm sure this is probably the first time you've ever seen a show at 7:30 in the morning in the Woodstock area. So, like I said, the internet never sleeps, and me, I get up at 2:30, boom, had a cup of coffee. Who drinks coffee at 3:30 in the morning with the knowledge that I will be going back to bed? I will be going back to bed. But I will be speaking about mesenchymal stem cells. We're going to talk about the pharmaceutical industry. We're going to talk about alternative healing, thought waves, and their effect on global consciousness. We're going to talk about Dr. Emoto's research on the power of water and being in the moment. We're going to have a great discussion live here on MattTV, 6 o'clock tonight, Pacific time. That's 9 Eastern, 10 Atlantic, 10:30 in Newfoundland. We're going to have a quick chat. I don't know how quick it's going to be. There is going to be no time limit on the show tonight. We could talk for a half hour, 45. We could talk for 60 minutes. But I know at the end of the program tonight, I will be sparking up the old barbecue, having us cooking up some burgers, some potato salad, and some chips. And I'm making homemade apple pie today. So I'm quite excited for the rest of the day. 3:31 here on the west coast of British Columbia. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to shut down MattTV within the next few seconds. Thanks for all the live views. Like I said, this is my outlet. I just thought I would jump in here, give you an update on the job. I am hoping, I'm almost 99% sure that in early October, within the next few days, sometime next week, if not after that, I will be back in the workforce. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, I just love jumping in here. Like I said, Wayne Mason, glad you're in here. You just never know who's going to be in here. It's just an opportunity for me to come in and say hi. You can say hi, give you some stories that you might want to follow up on, just to double check, just to make sure that I'm not giving you a bunch of BS. But I'm not. And this here, does anyone know what these are called? Does anyone know what these are called? They're not shirts, they're not sweaters, there's something in between. But this here, I was wearing this back in my early 20s. I love it. I'm so glad it can't talk. Aren't you glad that your clothing, because everything has a story, but sometimes you're like, those stories are better kept quiet. Christy, good morning. Okay, Wayne, I'm gonna get on out of here. It's a pullover, yeah. There's no zipper, but there's got to be a brand or something. I used to know it, but I don't know. Ponchos, yeah, maybe that's, yeah. I think you're on the right track there. It is a poncho. Yeah, it is a poncho. I mean, you can buy different sizes, and ponchos come in different varieties. But yeah, I guess, yeah, Ton, I think you're right. I think this is a poncho. I'm going to go with that. Just because it sounds cool. Look at Matt and his poncho. Look at his toque and his poncho. Okay, I'm getting silly now. I'm just going to finish my coffee. Okay, if you're in the workforce, if you're going to work today, tomorrow's Good Friday. We are into an Easter long weekend. Some of you may have Monday off. Some of you may take Monday off, but maybe you're not going to get paid. I don't know. For me, I just want to say a big thank you. I'll save that. Once I get a job, I'll do some thank yous for those that have looked out for me and my family over the last 3 months. Yes? Okay, that's going to do it for me. I just want to say this one more time. This is of great importance. There will certainly be another live broadcast tonight, 6 o'clock Pacific time. That's 9 Eastern, 10 Atlantic, 10:30 Newfoundland. 2 guests in studio here in White Rock in my garage tonight. I'll be speaking with Greg Cahoon, such an inspirational individual and very wise. And I'll be speaking with his girlfriend who will accompany him in White Rock, who I've never met. So I'm looking forward to meeting Candace for the first time and finally getting Greg Cahoon in here. I've wanted to speak with Greg even back in the day when I was doing Matt Chat, even before MattTV. So it has been almost 2 years in the making getting Greg Cahoon in my garage here in White Rock. So I'm so looking forward. I just love that guy. He's just, he just makes me laugh. He makes me smile. He's just such a good energy. And when the two of us get together, it's a lot of fun. So I strongly encourage you to set some time aside tonight to join me live at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern, 10 Atlantic, 10:30 in Newfoundland. 25 minutes away from 4 in the morning here on the west coast of British Columbia. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to finish my coffee, go have a nap, get up in a few hours, go into the city, and come back to White Rock and get ready for a broadcast tonight. So be safe in your travels today in whatever you're doing. Make your last work day of the week a great one, or just not make it a great one. Choice is yours. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. The foolishness is done. My name is Matthew. This is Matt TV. Now and always, from sea to sea.